It felt like a very clear message to leaders everywhere in America's new sphere of influence. As Nicolas Maduro was very publicly paraded for the cameras on his way to a New York court, no one could miss the symbolism. If you don't do what we want, this could be you.
I was in court a few metres away from Nicolas Maduro as he was being led away. And it was then that the most astonishing part of the hearing happened. A member of the public heckling him, telling him he would pay. Nicolas Maduro replied, "In the name of God, you will see. I will be free."
And if anyone somehow missed the message, Donald Trump spelled it out himself on Air Force One.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long.
And nor was it only America's enemies in the president's sights. He was equally explicit about the fate of Greenland, part of NATO ally Denmark.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic.
Hard then to shake the sense the New World Order was being reshaped before our eyes.
I remain deeply concerned that rules of international law have not been respected with regard to the 3 January military action.
As so often with the US president, we are left with so many questions. What happens if US troops do occupy all of Greenland? Would we be bound to assist Denmark in defending it? And if this is the New World Order, what if China tries to kidnap the Prime Minister of Japan or South Korea? What then? Also on News at 10 tonight. It was back to work and school, except for in those parts of the UK where the weather had other ideas. Degrading, insulting, malicious. 10 people are found guilty of cyberbullying Brigitte Macron. So what are the broader implications of the ruling? And how private grief may have inspired one of the greatest plays ever written and love stories never told. Nina has the story of the Oscar-tipped film Hamnet.
I'm biased because we just made the film that we made, and I'm like, no, Shakespeare loved his wife.
This is ITV News at 10 with Tom Bradby.
Good evening. Of all the astonishing moments of this Trump presidency to date, few can rival the dramatic scenes as the sun rose over New York City. His hands bound and surrounded by armed guards, Venezuela's ousted president Nicolas Maduro was flown by helicopter, the Statue of Liberty looming in the background, as he headed to court. There, he and his wife faced the drugs charges used to justify the extraordinary US operation to pluck them from power. Unsurprisingly, they denied them all. Down the road of the UN, America's actions and what indeed they might mean for the rules of international law faced sharp criticism. Not that President Trump seems fazed. He's already suggested the days are numbered for leaders in Colombia and Cuba, and most worryingly for NATO allies, renewed his claim to Greenland, all adding fuel to the idea that the capture of Maduro is merely the start of a new wave of American imperialism. And Dan is in New York, where all of that, of course, unfolded today. Dan, I was very struck by the lawyer in your report there saying, actually, this case from his perspective looks pretty solid. What have you made of it and of the chances of actually this turning into a conviction? OK, Dan, thank you very much indeed. Well, President Trump does not so far seem to have much of a plan for Venezuela itself. The Washington Post even reported today he didn't want to give power to the leader of the opposition because she should have turned down the Nobel Peace Prize that he believes belonged to him. It's clear, though, that the president feels emboldened by his move on Maduro. In fact, he's put the entire region on notice. A US op against Colombia's leader sounds good to me, he said. Cuba, in his words, looks ready to fall. And if this is what Mr. Trump has in mind, what might Presidents Putin and Xi think they can get away with? And Robert joins me now from Colombia. Robert, in a way, you posed the question there yourself. Leaders in South America living in an entirely new world, the threats not exactly subtle to them. What happens next? OK, Robert, thank you very much indeed. Well, let's put all that cheery prospect to Emma and Robert. Robert Moore there saying, this has global implications. Let's begin with you, Emma. Obviously, one implication is for Greenland, part of Denmark, NATO ally. Is it reasonably conceivable the Americans would try and take it over? Would the Danes try and defend it? Would they ask for our help? What happens? We're not even at the end of the first sort of proper Monday in 2026, Blimey, where will we be by the end of the year? Anyway, right, for many people today marked the return to work or school after the Christmas break. In parts of the UK, though, the weather had other ideas. Snow and ice forced the closure of schools and cancelled flights and trains. Today, yellow snow and ice warnings covered large swathes of Scotland, Wales, the whole of Northern Ireland, as well as parts of East and southwestern England. And tomorrow, those warnings extend to the rest of Scotland and parts of northwest England, with further disruption likely. In an upside-down world, it's good to see some things don't change. Now, conspiracy theories about Brigitte Macron's gender have been spread online ever since her husband, Emmanuel, became president of France. Doing so has now led to 10 people being convicted of cyberbullying the First Lady. Their claims about her described as degrading, insulting and malicious. The verdicts come ahead of a bigger trial in the US, where the Macrons are suing influencer Candace Owens for defamation. Now, among those paying their respects at a Remembrance Sunday event in Llandudno in November was a Navy Admiral, except the man in uniform wasn't what he appeared. Today's 65-year-old Jonathan Carley was fined £500 after admitting dressing as an admiral without permission. He told police he got the uniform as a cadet but had rear admiral rings added by a tailor and bought medals online. Carley even laid a wreath during the event. A judge told him he had disrespected the memories of the fallen. When Ruben Amorim spoke to the media after Manchester United's draw at Leeds yesterday, he effectively delivered an ultimatum to the club's hierarchy. Back me or sack me. Well, less than 24 hours on, there was a definitive answer, with the Portuguese shown the door after just 14 months in charge. Appointing Amorim was the first big call of co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe's tenure. All eyes are now on their next pick for what seems to many something of an impossible job. And finally, it's that time of year when Hollywood is abuzz with Oscars speculation. One of the big bets to go well is Hamnet, which tells the largely unknown story of William Shakespeare and his wife and children, and indeed how the private grief of the loss of their son inspired arguably the greatest work the bard gave the world, Hamlet. And that is it on only Monday the 5th. What will 2026 have in store for all of us? That's it for now, though. Good night. Thanks for watching.
Visibility may be low this evening as the cold weather hits. Heinz Soups sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. It has been so beautiful by day, hasn't it? Good night.
Heinz Soups sponsors ITV National Weather.
Good evening, I'm Antoine Allen. Now, the main stories in London. 3 teenagers who posed for selfies after killing a homeless man have been sentenced. Anthony Marks was targeted by a group of teenage drug runners near King's Cross in August 2024. His injuries were so severe, he died 5 weeks later. Catholic Patter's report contains details of the attack, which some might find upsetting. A teenager has been charged with murder after a man was killed in Lewisham on New Year's Eve. John Tenitope Wantufu died from a stab wound to the chest. A 17-year-old can't be named due to his age, and he will appear at Bromley Magistrates Youth Court on Monday. A former pupil who studied at Emmanuel College in Hertfordshire and the Jewish Free School in North West London has been confirmed as one of the victims killed in a fire at a ski resort in Switzerland. Charlotte Nadam's family announced her death in a post on social media. The Emmanuel College said Charlotte was much loved and widely respected by her peers and teachers. Around 60 firefighters were called to a huge fire at a golf club in Waltham Abbey this afternoon. Crews from Essex County Fire and Rescue Service arrived at the West Essex Golf Club shortly before 3 p.m. The fire, which affected the whole front part of the two-storey building, was extinguished at around 6:45 p.m. No one was injured and the cause is being investigated. 1 in 3 of us are giving up drinking this month. Despite taking part in Dry January, those trying to complete the challenge are being urged to keep supporting their local pubs. Helen Keenan went to see how Londoners are learning to sober socialise. Finally, if it's your New Year's resolution to pass your driving test, the hardest task could be finding an available test slot. The current wait is 5 months compared to just 8 weeks. 8 weeks ago, it was 10 years. It's mainly due to the backlog post-COVID, which isn't expected to clear any time soon. We sent Rags Martel to take a look. Time now for a look at the weather.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather, come rain or shine.
Good evening. Well, it certainly has been a very chilly start to the new week. More of the same as we head through for the rest of the day. Lots of dry weather, plenty of wintry sunshine, but bitterly cold once again.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
That's it from us, from everyone on the London team. Good night.